Hey y'all, hi. So today I'm here to take back everything that I said in yesterday's video. Just kidding. I'm not taking back everything that I said. Not everything. I actually think that most of what I said in this video that I filmed yesterday, in which I applied makeup in a way that's more like the way that I used to. Heavier eye makeup, suited for a different kind of occasion than most of the days that I'm having, all of the days that I'm having in my life these days. Something like going out dancing, going to a show, you know. And I basically said at the end of that video, oh, this is still me. This is still the way that I would do my makeup. It's just that I'm not doing any of the things that warrant this kind of makeup these days. And then after I turned off the camera, I was like, I don't think I gave myself enough time to kind of sit with it before I reacted to it. And then after I had filmed, I sat with it and I came to some different conclusions than I had come to at the end of that video. And so today I'm going to kind of start over with the same brief, applying makeup for an occasion other than the day that I'm likely to have. But I'm going to try to be more authentic to what I would actually do if I were in that situation. And I'm going to reflect a little bit on the makeup from the video yesterday and the things that I said. If this happens to be your first time watching one of my videos, well, welcome. My name is Hannah. I've been making YouTube videos for 6 years. Is that right? This is the 7th year. I started at the beginning of 2018, so 6.5 years. I'm into the 7th year of making videos about makeup and other things, putting on makeup on camera. And so, of course, my tastes have changed, my friends, and myself. Of course they have. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. So I'm starting with the same face as yesterday, pretty much the same base makeup that I came on camera with yesterday. Very similar brows. I applied my brow makeup on camera in the other video, so if you're curious about how I've done this, then go watch the other one if you haven't seen it. I just decided to start with the same brows, and so I did it before I sat down to film today because it would just be exactly the same as yesterday. Same technique. They might have come out a little bit different, but same technique, same brow goals. I do think I need a little lip balm. I'm going to put on this Kosas. I still love and hate this thing. Kosas Plump and Juicy Collagen Lip Boost Day and Night Lip Plumper Treatment. The product itself is so good and actually looks quite pretty, I think, but it's so stiff. You have to squeeze really hard. You have to have like an iron grip. You have to have muscular hands to get it to come out of the tube. And so I just think that's a little bit poorly designed, but I've been making it work. I'm more than halfway through the tube. So I want to reflect a little bit on yesterday's video. And before I start today, because I kind of need to get my head screwed on straight about what I am going to do. And so what I'll do is I'm going to actually put my hair up or back. I'm going to fix my hair and switch out my earrings before I start with the makeup. And while I do that, I'll share with you what I've been thinking. Look at this. Look at this. I think a comb is a beautiful thing, and I have never needed a comb before, but I love them so much that I bought Joe like a fancy comb because he uses a comb on his little Joe hair. I bought him a fancy comb for like Christmas a couple of years ago or his birthday or something, mostly because I just wanted to buy a fancy comb. But now that I sometimes do a smooth top of the head ponytail, I do need a comb, and I've been borrowing Joe's comb for months now, and then Machete sent me my own. I had no idea it would be so hefty. I mean, I knew it would be beautiful because it's Machete, but it's truly better than I ever dreamed. Okay, I started doing that and I very quickly realized that I needed to focus on it and I couldn't talk while I was doing it. But I am very pleased with the comb. It's much better at getting my thick hair together than the little pointy tines of Joe's comb. It's just like a much better tool for the job. Amazing. Finishing gel from the Crown Affair. I squeezed out way too much because I was trying to show you what it looks like. So I didn't use all of that. I wiped about half of it off on a washcloth. I'm just using the rest. And now I'm going to switch out my daily wear earrings for these hoops, which are also from Machete. So I realized something was wrong with the conclusions that I had reached in that video. After I stopped filming and I immediately went to not wash the entire face off, but to wipe the eye makeup part off of my eyes. I had said, a lot of what I said in the video I think is true, just to be clear. I think that the look was great. I think that the techniques were sound. All of the makeup worked beautifully. I do think that I looked concert appropriate or club appropriate for me, for my face. I think that I didn't look bad. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I was like, I finished it I was like, oh no, I look horrible. Or that you shouldn't try doing your makeup that way, or that if you do your makeup that way, it doesn't look good, or anything like that. The two things that I realized I was hasty in saying were, one, that I was going to wear my makeup like that for the rest of the day and not wash it off, because I immediately washed it off. I didn't wash it all off. I'll get to that in a second. And two, that if I were to go tango dancing, for example, that's the way that I would do my makeup. So those two things were definitely wrong. It was wrong that I was going to wear it for the rest of the day. What I did was I went and I used a cleansing balm just on the makeup part, the eye makeup part, just on the makeup part, just on the lid part, the eyeshadow and glitter. And I emulsified that, and then I wiped it away with a wet washcloth so that I still had like the mascara on and most of the eyeliner. And it was still a pretty heavy eye look for me. Like for the rest of the day, it was more eye makeup than I've been wearing, particularly because of the eyeliner, because I haven't worn eyeliner in forever. So it was more made up and more fancy, like fancily made up than I am used to being. But I took away the like smoky eye. You know what I mean? The structured smoky eye. And I immediately felt that I looked much more mature, but still ready to go out to something, like still made up in a way that is beyond my day-to-day makeup, which was the goal. I mean, the goal yesterday was twofold. One, to kind of do makeup how I used to and see how I felt, which I totally succeeded at. I just didn't succeed at incorporating that how I actually felt fully into that video because it took me some time, and now I'm coming back to do it. And then the other part of the goal was to kind of do heavier makeup, like do makeup the way that I would do for a fancier occasion. And that I felt like I had achieved after I wiped off the smoky eye and I had that just like intense liner and heavy mascara lash look. Then I was like, okay, I looked in the mirror and I saw myself, my current self, you know, my 39-year-old, been doing makeup on YouTube for 6.5 years, gone through many phases of my relationship with beauty that had basically spanned my 30s, and come out on the other side in the now, like settled where I am now with the life that I have now, self. Like I saw that face, but quite made up and slightly more formal. You know what I mean? That's the face that I saw. Whereas before I wiped off the smoky eye, I looked in the mirror and it was like I saw myself in drag as my younger self, but it was like I had put on my old beat. You know what I mean? Like my beat from the first season. It's like Trixie putting on her season 7 makeup, you know, just to see how it would make her feel. And I do think that, again, I think that the techniques were fine. I think that the smoky eye was lovely as far as smoky eyes go. And it just didn't incorporate the way that my thinking about the use of makeup really has changed. And this is the thing. I don't think that it has just changed because I have changed. And this is what I realized as like the day went on and I thought about it more. I don't think that it's just that I've gotten older and like my life circumstances have changed. And so that kind of smoky eye that I had on in that video is no longer appropriate to my everyday or even to my fancy day. If I ever have a fancy day again, I'm sure that I will. I think my tastes, my sensibilities about makeup have changed because trends have changed the way that most people think about makeup. I've been doing new makeup hot takes this whole time. I've been paying attention to trends in makeup. I've been paying close attention to what's coming out on the market. I've been taking in a lot of imagery. And in that time, the zeitgeist and the way that we as a group conceive of makeup, like what's fresh in makeup has changed a lot. And there's actually been kind of like a generational turnover since I started watching YouTube and since I started doing a lot of makeup and practicing makeup. Back then, it was like Jaclyn Hill, like full beat Instaglam. And I was taking that and making it my own by making it a little bit kind of messier and smudgier, more editorial, but it was still very, very heavy and it was still kind of smoky eye focused. But with the advent of Gen Z, there's been a huge about face in what makeup is for, kind of in the zeitgeist, especially the fresh and young and trending. And I talked about it as euphoria makeup when it first started happening. And it's not euphoria makeup anymore. I'm going to start putting on makeup as I talk because I realize I have a lot of philosophy to say. Oh my gosh, any new viewers are going to have like clicked away. Many people are probably going to have clicked away. They're going to be like, we started watching this video and nothing happened. Oh, but let me do a little bit of primer. So when it started, I think this shift in a trend in what makeup is for, it started as euphoria makeup, or I started talking about it as euphoria makeup. And when I talked about it then, when I tried it then, I did talk about this, the fact that the trend is towards still seeing your own face, like not necessarily trying really hard to change the shape of your eyes or like like the shape of your face or the way that your face kind of hits when someone looks at you. Not trying to change that, but just to kind of embellish with fun, with sparkle, with exciting texture or color or graphic lines that is applied to your face, kind of like a transparent overlay through which you can still see your face, like through which you can still see your regular face. Whereas the smoky eye, specifically, any kind of smoky eye, including what I had on yesterday, it is really designed to dramatically change, to sculpt the eye and really change the shape of the face. When I thought about it yesterday, after I washed it off and I thought about what I would actually do if I were going to some event and I wanted to really put on impactful face makeup, like really do the most, have it very apparent, have my face very made up, my eyes very made up, use eyeshadow. If I wanted to do that and I were really going to do it, I thought about, well, what would I do? And the answer that I came up with was that I would put on a lot of shine and maybe even sparkle on my lids, but I wouldn't necessarily do all that smoking out and sculpting. And that's because I realized I would feel more comfortable at an event like that if I wasn't trying so hard to alter the shape of my facial features. And I do think that that's maybe a little bit because I'm now almost 40, whereas when I kind of started in this gig, I was almost 30. You know what I mean? That's like a big difference. But I actually think the main reason why that is the tack that I would take, and that's the tack that I'm going to take today, the main reason is that I feel like it's more chic now to do that. I think that that smoky eye that I had on for me yesterday, it felt a little dated, and it felt dated both in my timeline because it is dated for me. It's like my old way, but it also felt dated in like the zeitgeist. Like it felt like it was so 2016, you know, to be doing that. And I think that if it didn't feel dated to me, there would be nothing wrong with there would be nothing wrong in any case with wearing makeup like that. Nobody would see me walking down the street and be like, that girl's wearing dated makeup. Like it's not that serious. But you know, we're really in the weeds here about personal style and personal makeup style. That's what this video is. I'm going to use this Pat McGrath Midnight Sun palette, this really shiny one. The point I was trying to make is that to me, it didn't sit right because it didn't feel fresh. And that means that the shift in the makeup zeitgeist and what Gen Z has brought to the table, it has actually infiltrated my personal taste level. And that is what matters, right? I'm not trying to keep up with the times and I'm like throwing out the way that I used to do something, even though I would still feel more comfortable with it or still really liked the way it looked. What happened was I did it that way. And then I looked in the mirror and I realized that the shifting tides in makeup have infiltrated my way of seeing, have really meshed into my way of seeing so much that it didn't look fresh to me personally. It wasn't that I was like intellectually thinking, oh, this isn't trendy. It was like I looked at it and I was like, I don't feel like I look fresh and chic and therefore like confident and polished in the way that I would want to look if I were going out. I just didn't think it looked good. I didn't think it looked good anymore. That's the thing. I looked in the mirror and I was like, I think objectively it looks kind of fierce, but I don't think it looks good anymore. And that was why I wiped it off. And I felt like I looked a lot better to myself after I wiped it off. So it's like my tastes have really changed. My tastes completely, like the way that I see out of my eyes, the way that I assess my own self, my face, my facial features, my makeup. It really has fundamentally changed, not just that what I know about what's trendy is there, you know? Right, I'm putting this on. Okay, so what I've done here is I've tapped that really shiny powder basically all over, all the way up to my brows, but I've been a little bit messy with it. So I let it get like on close to my nose, on my nose a little. I let it get out here a little bit because I feel like that is a little bit more the evening look. Like that's a little bit more festival, a little more celebratory, a little more I'm going out dancing. Whereas for something slightly more refined, I would just keep it just on the center of my lids. That's kind of like what I had been doing with this kind of thing for a while, like last year. But it's a little bit painterly, you know. It's not very dramatic because it's just the one shadow and it's sheer, but it's painterly. And as you see me moving, like in person, moving around, you can kind of see it wandering around and you can see that there's a sense of fun about it and a sense of glamour and a little bit of an artistic sense rather than it being just this like extremely painted inside, paint by numbers kind of application of something shiny shiny, something textured. And definitely key is also going up all the way to the brow bone. So it's on my brow bone. It's all the way up to my brow instead of just being on the lid, which would be something that you'd only see if I blink, you know, when I blink, not if I blink. I definitely blink. Okay. But, you know, even with my eyes open, you can see it all the way up here because it's all over the entire lid area, all over. So because we're simulating, trying to really do the most, I think that this is really pretty and sort of enough, even for something pretty formal. But because we're simulating, trying to do the most, and I've really got my head on straight in terms of like now knowing that I, even in this situation, do want to keep it very fresh and have my eye shape be my eye shape, just adorned with shine. With that as the brief, but wanting to do the most, I am actually going to get out those Colourpop glitters that I didn't end up using yesterday. I need to update these, like get something new that does this because these are really old and I think probably the adhesive in them doesn't work well anymore. So I'm just going to use the littlest bit and just put it like, gosh, a little goes a long way. So I actually mostly put that chunkier glitter directly underneath the peak of my brows on both sides. So again, you can really see it even when I'm not blinking. It's not just this little bit of shine that's revealed when I blink. It's like on my face. It's on like my face and you can see it there. But when I look at myself, I look shape of my face and shape of my eyes wise. I look the way that I looked when I came on camera with nothing. It's just, you can see the shine, right? You can see that I've been adorned. Now, I think I am going to add a little bit of eyeliner because I am still trying to simulate wanting to do the most. And I do think that if I were trying to do the middling most, like not the most, but not something for every day, I would just put mascara on with this and go. I am going to outline my eyes just a little bit with the same eyeliner that I used yesterday. And I think I might also use the smudgy side with the eyeshadow. This is that Surratt Smoky Eye Baton to just add a little depth in the outer corner. So I am going to do a little bit of shading. It'll just be much, much subtler than it was yesterday. Okay, so that was all with the Surratt Smoky Eye Baton, a great little tool. And I feel like that actually did add some sculpting and change the shape of my eyes a little bit and change like the effect of the way that I look out of my eyes. I feel like that took the look from eye makeup that I would wear to go like to a party or to karaoke or something, or maybe even dancing, took it from that to a very formal event. Like I'm going to a gala, I'm wearing a gown, you know, and I'm doing a full-on eye look for it. That's more what this is. So this is really like the most for me right now. I think that the look that I had on yesterday, as much as at the time I was like, oh yeah, this is the way that I do my makeup when I go out. Now, I think that I wouldn't want that for either of those. I wouldn't want it for karaoke and I wouldn't want it for the gala with the formal gown either, because it doesn't feel like it would be balanced with what I would be wearing, how I would have my hair. It doesn't feel like it's aligned with my taste right now. And I didn't know that until I put it on and then turned the camera off and then sat with myself for a while. This is much more aligned with my taste right now. And I think that it's definitely elevated enough to work even for the most formal of events. And I think it will be even more when I add mascara. And I'm just going to use the same mascara that I used yesterday, this kind of amazing curling mascara from Iris and Romeo. But I'm actually not going to put on as much as I did yesterday. Wow, I'm so into this. So I didn't apply as much. I did it mostly on the outer half of my upper lashes and then the tiniest bit on my lower lashes, but I didn't really build it up to make my lashes thick and gunky. It did a lot though, in just like 2 coats. It did a lot of like lifting and fanning and thickening. Wow, I love this. I feel so dressed up, or I should say it the other way around. I feel so much more myself. I feel so much more my current self in this makeup. And I also feel extremely, like my face is extremely dressed up. Like this is like my face's formal wear, you know? I actually think I might want to soften the brows a little bit now that the eye makeup is on. I think the same thing happened yesterday. Yeah, it's like this is what glam is to me now. And that makes a lot of sense to me, both with my personal evolution, like my change over time and the change in my taste over time, but also with the changing landscape of makeup artistry, the kinds of makeup that's on the market, and what seems to be popular among like the current trend-setting generation. It makes total sense to me. This exercise has been so interesting. Let me finish the rest of the face. I think with this, realistically, I think I could see myself putting on a lot of highlight, like a balm. You know what I want to use? Yeah, the Ferrahomedi. So really like, it's like that almost Vaseline-y look, which is the kind of thing that I do on the day-to-day. Like this is the kind of cheek that I'll wear often on the day-to-day, but I'm putting on kind of more. And I feel like it takes on a new meaning with the eyes like this. Like it's hitting differently, you know? And then let's do the same lip as yesterday, the Ami Collet. I feel like that's totally appropriate. I'm actually gonna remove that Kosas. And there we go. I'm really into it. As I did yesterday, I feel more motivated to do more formal makeup looks on my channel now. But I actually feel even more excited about that than I did when I said that when I filmed yesterday, because I'd be excited to do like a different iteration of this. What if I tried to do a version of this, kind of my current, most elevated, most formal makeup, but incorporating color, or a version that uses a strong lip? Like how would I balance out the rest of it? Thinking about going to a gala, you know, that kind of thing. I once again feel excited about playing with makeup to kind of create looks for theoretical occasions instead of just doing daily makeup all the time because I'm only having daily makeup days. So that's great. I'm glad that that impulse yesterday wasn't just confined to the stage that I was in at the end of yesterday's video, which was, I think, halfway through what turned out to be a 2-video journey towards understanding myself and my relationship with makeup better. And here's what I think happened. The way we do our makeup changes over time, right? We get to know ourselves better. We get to know our tools better. We get better at techniques. Also, tastes change as trends change and as the decades pass. And so it totally makes sense, right? Like look at the way that Trixie did her makeup on season 7 versus the way that she did it a couple of years ago versus the way that she does it now, right? There's an evolution that is just natural as time passes. But for me, because my lifestyle has changed kind of dramatically in the last couple of years, I also stopped doing makeup to go out dancing tango or makeup to even to go out to dinner. Like I stopped doing more exciting makeup, more exciting looks. And so I think what happened is that my tastes and the way that I do my makeup continued to evolve without me ever kind of checking back in with my fancy makeup self to see what they were evolving into. So my daily makeup evolved and I've been doing that and doing that and doing that. And so we've kind of all seen the evolution in the way that I do my daily makeup. And so that's been like an unbroken thread. But makeup for an occasion, I didn't find out until I tried it yesterday that the way that I do it has changed. It's changed without me doing it. The way that I would want to do it has changed and I just haven't had any practice at it. And so nobody's seen it, including me. So I sat down to do it and I did it the way that I would have done, like season 7 version of Hannah would have done. And I immediately was like, oh, in the middle of the night, Miss Clavel turned on the light and said, something is not right. So I'm really glad that I came back again today to do it right. And I am thrilled. I am thrilled. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's made sense. I hope that you're excited as I am for what's to come because it's been fun doing makeup on camera a couple of days in a row. It's been fun thinking about the intersection of artistry, artistic impulse with taste level and chic. That is kind of what I'm interested in makeup right now, especially when it comes to occasion makeup, like fancy glam, you know? It's really getting me going thinking about that. So I'm gonna go leave this makeup on for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.